welcome to a webinar series hosted by Happiest Health. I am Reudce and I will be your host for today's session. If you have ever started on a fitness journey or wanted to start your fitness journey, you have searched for answers to a few questions in your mind, either on the internet or you have asked people around. Now, the more you research, the more you may have gotten confused because there is so much information. Another downside to this load of information is also the fact that you don't know what is right and what is wrong. What do? You ask the experts. You ask a qualified professional whether what you're reading about and what you're hearing about is good for you. In today's session titled Busting the Fitness Myths, we try to break some of these common myths and misconceptions. We have with us two panel members to discuss these myths and break some of these misconceptions. First up is Rajan Das. Rajan Das is certified and a GTFI advanced personal trainer. He's completed the TRS suspension training course and holds a level 1 certification in strength and conditioning. Welcome, Rajan Das, to the panel.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have Dr. Shashikira, who is an orthopedic specialist with over 15 years of experience, currently practicing at Apollo Hospital's Sheshadripuram in Bengaluru. He holds an MBBS and an MS in orthopedics. Dr. Shashikira provides a comprehensive range of services to treat various orthopedic conditions, including ankle sprains, arthritis management, bone fractures, carpal tunnel syndrome, and much, much more. Welcome to the panel, Dr. Shashikira.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So with these two panelists, we hope to have a very insightful session on one, the medical and health aspect of it, and the other, the practical aspect of it, the myths and misconceptions that you come across when you hit the gym as well. Before we begin the session, here's something for the attendees. We have a Move Fitness Summit on the 8th of June at the St. John's Auditorium in Bengaluru, starting 9 a.m. We have different sessions, starting with a keynote address by Anju Bobby George, then various sessions like finding time for fitness, muscle and bone health, fitness and weight management, and much, much more. You can register for the sessions, for which a link will be shared in the chat box. And if you register today, you have a one-time special discount of, and here's a discount code that is MW99. The code is MW99. With that, we will dive right into the set of questions that we have. First question to you, Rajan Das. What are some common fitness or exercise myths that you encounter regularly? You're a trainer. You see a lot of them coming into the gym for the first time, coming to start their fitness journey for the first time. What are the common fitness myths and misconceptions?
I would say when I encounter with people in the gym, so let's say when I used to train into a group classes, many people, they just came with the fact of that they can lose body fat or lose weight in a certain time period. Okay, so that is something I don't think so they should be having in their mind and then joining a gym or starting their fitness journey, because losing weight or losing fat is something that it requires a lot of changes in your lifestyle and your dedication towards the workout. So there's nothing would be like, okay, I just hit the gym for 2 months or 3 months, I'll get in shape. Okay, maybe if you are really keen into about that, it can happen, but that will require a lot of, let's say, diet and those kind of short-term goal that can give you the result, but at the same time, it won't be sustainable for the longer time. So you need to have a realistic goal towards your fitness journey where you need to know that, okay, this much of time period I have to dedicate it. So it's not going to be just about within 1 or 2 months. Or some people, they just come, I have some event or function, I have to be there or attend. So I need to lose certain kgs and I need to look in a certain way. So that's not something that I would recommend to our clients or to the people who are hitting the gym to have that mindset and come to the gym. And also one more that they have that, okay, can I just like do cardio and lose weight? So that is something big misconception that they have, that cardio can only make them lose weight.
Okay. All right. So one of the biggest misconception or myth that you come across is people hitting the gym saying, I will lose these many kgs in this much time, or specifically before a special event coming to get in shape. All right. I'll come to you, Dr. Shashikira, next. The question that I have for you is, there are misconceptions about exercise and potential injuries as well. Like, for example, stretching prevents all injuries. So you can do whatever you want and then you stretch and then you are sort of safeguarding yourself from injuries. Is that correct?
Yeah, so, just universally saying that stretching prevents all injury is a myth. So stretching can improve flexibility and it can reduce, certain injuries, the risk of certain injuries, but it's not a guarantee, for all types of injuries. So you have to have a well-rounded exercise routine that includes strength training as well as proper warm-up is essential. So it is not necessary that you just stretch and then you are safe from all injuries. So it is very specific, and strength training, like Ranjan said, is very important. And of course, stretching does improve flexibility, but that is not the whole mantra where you say stretching prevents injury. So you will have to have proper, well-rounded, warm up before you do your exercise.
All right. So don't look for stretching at the end of your fitness hour as the only route to
Yes.
prevent injuries. All right. Rajan, many people believe that certain exercises can target spot reduction. Do this exercise reduce fat belly? Do this exercise reduce fat from your arms? How do you debunk this myth of spot reduction? And can you explain healthy weight loss strategy?
So spot reduction, it is a myth, as you said, right? So there's nothing as called spot reduction. So there is when we lose when we lose fat, right? So that happens from top to bottom, from our head to the toe. So let's say we are doing certain sort of exercises or trying to hit certain sort of a goal. So we start losing fat from the whole part of our body. It's not that only belly, only arms, only chest or hip area. It's nothing like that. So if I'm doing certain sort of exercises, that will take the energy from the calories that we have in our body. That calories can't be like, okay, I'm just doing the crunches, so it's gonna only burn from there. No. So there'll be something called muscle building can happen. Okay, so that's why when people they want to grow their arms, they do certain sort of repetitions, the volume training, so that they gain muscles. So what happens? So when we train our muscles, so our muscle starts growing. At the same time, the fat percentage starts going from there. So if I have a certain amount of fat on my chest, so I have to do a high reps training and the volume training so that I can build muscle to that area. But that doesn't mean that fat will reduce from there. So when you start losing fat, you have to make sure that you are doing strength training so that you are maintaining a certain amount of body weight and the muscle mass. So when people say that you do a lot of crunches, your belly fat will go away. No, it doesn't work like that. Let's say you're doing biceps curl, right? So what happens? The muscle grows in that, right? Same thing if you are doing crunches. So muscles will grow even if there also, or maybe it will become stronger with the time, but it won't be like the fat will go away. So to reduce the fat from the whole body, you have to focus on the food. I'm not saying to go into a very crash diet or something, but a decent, healthy home food where you know that the ratio of your protein, carbs, fibers, and fat level all are taken care in a proper way. So that only can help you to reduce the fat percentage. So once you start losing fat, you lose it from the whole body, and then you have to start focusing on the gaining muscle. Okay, so now I have a goal to have a good upper body aesthetic. So I need to train in that way to get that muscles. So at the same time, you have to reduce the fat as well, and it will go down. If your program, your food is good, the fat will automatically go down, and the muscle will come up. So what happens when you're in a calorie deficit, but you're eating high protein, at the same time you're doing the strength training, then you lose fat and you gain muscle. So that is the only way it can happen.
Okay. Absolutely. Diet is as important as exercise. And we can't tell this enough. And we've said this in multiple articles and sessions as well. And now the experts are weighing in as well, saying spot reduction is a myth. So do not hit the gym thinking you can reduce fat in this period of time from this area of your body. Fat reduction happens across the body and happens because of calorie a deficit that you will have to go into. But do not go for spot reduction. It is a myth. We're reiterating that again. Dr. Shashikira, my next question for you. There are certain exercises that people say, you should not do because it's not good for the back. It's not good for the knees. Specific exercises that are not good for specific parts of the body that people talk about. Are there such exercises that are inherently bad for certain parts of your body?
Yeah, there are, we have a lot of patients who come, for asking these questions. So one commonly asked question is running bad for the knees? So, this is a very commonly asked question, and it is a myth. So it is not inherently bad for the knee, but proper form is very important. So the right kind of footwear, the right kind of shoes, the footwear plays a very important role in running. and especially the surface where they run. And they should start slow and gradually increase the intensity. So it is not inherently bad for the knee, but the right kind of form, the right footwear, the right surface is very important, and also to maintain the good posture while running. The other myth that usually which is asked is squats and deadlifts are bad for the back and the knee.
Yes.
Again, squats and deadlifts, again done in the right form, is good for the quadriceps, the squats, and these deadlifts are good for the back muscles. But again, with right kind of training and the proper form, it is very good for muscle building. The other common myth is crunches will get rid of fat, like Rajan already explained. It cannot specifically break down fat in certain areas. And other one is lifting heavy weights is dangerous. Again, done in proper form, lifting weights and strength training is very important in weight loss as well, as it builds muscle. So the technique of lifting weight incrementally is very important, and to engaging the core muscles is very important. So all in all, it is the proper form which is very important, and it does help in building muscles.
Okay. So no exercise is inherently bad. It's how you do it,
How you do it, yeah.
probably what's getting you to that way. Rajan Das, there is this common saying, no pain, no gain. Is that the key to achieving fitness goals? And when you're training people at the gym, or somebody is new to working out, when do you differentiate, and how do you differentiate between good pain and bad pain? When do you know if the pain that the person is having is good pain or bad pain?
No pain, no gain. Okay, this is something called, it's just a saying, right? Just to motivate people or push people to get some extra reps, or let them people to work out for a little more. So there's nothing such thing as like that. No pain, no gain. Because let's say now if some new person is coming to the gym, I cannot like ask that person to get into the pain and enjoy the pain, because that person is so new.
Yes.
And for that person, for him or her, the only thing is right now to getting into the gym and knowing the environment and getting into that mindset first and being consistent. So if anyone, let's say his friend or her friend or any trainer force them to go through this many sets, this many reps, and then the soreness becomes so bad, next day what will happen? That person will be like, no, I don't think so I'll be able to continue. My body is not being able to take it. My muscle is so I'm not being able to get up also. So there's nothing like that, especially for the beginners, especially those who are coming new. And those who are intermediate, there are certain rep range where you have to go through like failure, not even failure, where you know that, okay, after if I'm doing 12 reps of squats, so I know that after 7, 8 reps, last 4 reps are gonna hit me a good sweet pain. I would call it as a sweet pain, where you know that, okay, my muscle contraction is happening. So when I'm doing a lot of bench press, I'm contracting my chest muscles. So I can feel that my pec muscles are being contracted. So those muscles automatically, you will realize it that those are the muscle contraction, not pain, but it's a contraction of the muscle, which you know that it's a good thing. So when I say it's a bad pain, so that will be, you can generalize it where the joint pain giving you the pain, that kind of a thing, where you know that, okay, the range of motion is going too behind, where the joint muscles, where the joints are getting compromised. So that's where you will get to know that, okay, this pain is bad, because that's coming from the bone or joint. Okay. So that's where you can analyze it in your head itself, that, okay, whether it's a good pain or not. And also when you push yourself, motivate yourself, sometimes for an athlete, we do try to go to a certain level. I myself am an athlete, so I try to push myself because my goal is different. So I know my body type also, that how much it can take, how much pain I can go through it. So I would at that time, maybe I can think, okay, I have to go through this pain because I know my pain tolerance as well, that muscle soreness. So I can push myself. But those who are just looking for a fitness perspective, or just to get a proper fitness, but nothing as a such high intensity workout, for them, I don't think so this quote works, no pain, no gain. For them, getting into a proper lifestyle, leading a good, healthy lifestyle where you are eating right, exercising at least 45 to like 60 minutes, I think that should be sufficient enough, where you know that the design which the program which you're following, it's in a proper design way according to your goal. You can't follow someone else's routine and then you can be like, okay, I can get my goal or achieve my fitness.
Okay.
So that's not how it works.
Okay. All right. So no pain, no gain basically means you need to work hard for the goal. That does not mean you should struggle with pain at the end of it. Exercise, end of the day, should feel good. It should make you feel good. Dr. Shashikira, same question for you. No pain, no gain. When should a person consult a medical professional? What pain is a bad pain? Next day after an exercise, if I wake up with a bad pain that's not allowing me to move, does that mean I've done a good job? If there is no pain at all, does that mean I have not exercised properly? What is bad pain? When
Yeah,
should
so while some discomfort is normal during exercise, but acute pain, it's not essential for gains. So there are certain kind of pains that they have to look into and consult a specialist. So if there are sharp pains, if there's a pain associated with swelling, if there's pain that is localized to a certain area, and if pain that gets worse with physical activity, sometimes patients hear a pop sound accompanying a pain. So these are certain kinds of pain that they should watch out for and consult a specialist when they experience such kind of pain.
Okay. All right. So
So,
basically,
so
yeah. Yes, please.
I want to just put it over here. Like, I want to know more about it I myself. Like DOMS, right? So delayed onset muscle soreness. I want to know from sir. And what is muscle spasm? Because recently I got it. Okay, so
Yeah,
I was not able
so
to move my
delayed
hand
onset
also.
muscle soreness is a common thing.
So I would
It's a
like to, yeah.
mild muscle soreness that sets in usually about 12 to 24 hours after a workout. It's not always a sign of progress. So, like I said, when there is joint or musculoskeletal pain, or if there is the kinds of pain that I explained just now, so sharp, stabbing, persistent pain it can indicate overdoing, or it can indicate some kind of injury. The second question that you asked is muscle
Muscle
spasm.
spasm.
So we get a lot of patients with low back pain and they come with acute muscle spasm. So normally the muscle fibers have a stretchability. So it is stretchable just like a rubber band. When the muscles are not stretched enough prior to doing a workout, so the defense mechanism of the muscle is it goes into spasm or tightness. So when they do extreme workouts and stretching, without doing proper warm up and stretching, so the muscle stretches beyond its capability and it goes into muscle spasm. So that is why it is very important that they do proper stretching before they do workout. So we have a lot of patients who are back muscles are not stretched enough, and they lift certain kind of weights and it goes into acute muscle spasm. So when the muscle is put to a lot of stretch, when they've not done proper warm up, that is when it goes into muscle spasm.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. That brings me to my next question to you, Rajan. What is a proper stretching routine that you would advise, to those who come to the gym or who work out in general? And what are these static and dynamic stretches? When do you advise them to do these?
Yeah, so stretches are very important, as sir said, that when you don't stretch or mobilize or warm up properly before any sort of a workout, which is very intense, so that leads you into a muscle spasm. So DOMS is a good thing, which is delayed onset muscle soreness. So which is a good thing, which, as you said, that within 24 hours, somewhere or after 24 hours, it goes away or it starts reducing. But when it turns into a spasm, because either you didn't warm up properly or didn't stretch properly. So stretching before and after workout is very important to even get that muscle growth, right? So when you talk about like static stretches, so that mostly we recommend post workout, okay? And dynamic stretches, that is we recommend before the workout, because there is a movement also while doing those stretches. So in that we try to get into a more of a mobility sort of a thing, where we try to not hold any sort of a stretch, but try to keep moving from one rep to the other rep. So maybe it could be, let's say there are few stretches, cobra to mountain, the basic ones. So in that also you are trying to fill that stretch, but that is you are holding it for 1 to 2 seconds. It's not that you're holding it for more than 30 to 40 seconds, but you are more into a moving direction. So that's something you have to incorporate before the workout. And I would recommend you should be at least warming up for minimum 10 minutes and mobilize it properly. Let's say if you're hitting legs, so you need to mobilize your hips, your quads muscles, your hamstrings, your glutes, and the depth of the squat, how much you're getting into it. So same accordingly, it goes for your upper body as well, your shoulder joints, your upper back, your lower back, and kind of a thoracic region. It has, you have to make sure that those places are being mobilized and done properly. But in both the parts, you have to also make sure that your core engagement, core stability is there before the warm up itself. So you do that as well. And when you're done with your workout, you try to go for the static stretches. Okay. Either you do it by yourself or passive stretches where someone helps you to hold that stretch for longer. So I would recommend any stretches that you do, you should at least hold it for 30 seconds. And maybe you should, for one muscle, two stretches you can involve in it and try to hold it for 30 to 45 seconds. But if you have time, great, you can go for 1 minute as well. So I myself try to do it for 1 minute, one stretches post my workout, and that helps me a lot. Or if you have, let's say, ball, mid ball, or foam roller, that also you can use it. That you can use it even before workout, even post workout also. But I would recommend it before workout to use the foam rollers and all. As I said, it's a moving movement where you're trying to just warm up those muscles, those areas. So that is very good as a recovery and not to get injured when you're hitting very high intensity workout.
All right. So here's what the experts are saying, that as much as that 1 hour or 45 minutes of workout is important, it is equally important to give enough time for warm up and cool down, for those stretches before and after workout. So do not just hurry and quickly get into workout and finish that 1 hour or 45 minutes. Give equal importance to the stretches before and after as well, to make sure you're preventing injuries. Dr. Shashikiran, when do you know you're overtraining? What are the potential dangers of overtraining? Is it true that the harder you train, the better it is for the muscles?
Well, that is a myth. So the truth is, challenging workouts, they're essential for progress, but excessive training without adequate recovery, it can lead to something called as a overtraining syndrome. So what is overtraining syndrome? It is basically, it occurs when you train too much or train too hard without sufficient rest. So what overtraining syndrome can cause is, it can experience, people will experience extreme fatigue, reduced performance, mood changes, and also sleep disturbances. So the consequence of this would be, they'll have decreased athletic performance, they'll have increased risk of injuries and frequent illness, and this can also have psychological symptoms, like they feel anxious, irritable, there's loss of enthusiasm for exercise, and they can have trouble in concentrating. So how do you prevent overtraining? Is you find the right balance between work and recovery. So rest is equally important for your muscles to recover, and you always listen to your body, pay attention to signs of fatigue, pain, and mood changes. And proper hydration and nutrition, micronutrients, is essential for performance and prevention. So you have to remember that optimal gains come from a smart balance of training intensity, rest, and recovery. So all this put together will give optimum results. So this has to be kept in mind. You should push hard, but you should also allow your body to recharge.
Doctor, and here when you say rest and recovery, it's not taking a few days off as such. It's a recovery and rest for the muscle groups you're talking about?
Yeah, for the muscle groups, so like, the trainers in the gym, they give specific weekdays for specific muscles. So if
Yes.
you've done a biceps and triceps on one day, you give a adequate 3 to 4 days rest. But you can train your other muscle groups so that the muscle fibers as such, recover from that training.
Right. Recovery, rest and recovery is as important as you training hard. It is equally beneficial for you to
Yes.
hit that fitness goal, is what the doctor is telling us. Rajan, many people feel very intimidated by the gym environment. The first time you enter a gym, there are people who are lifting very heavy weights. They're doing exercises that you probably can't do right away because you're a beginner. What are some tips that you would like to give beginners to feel comfortable and confident to start their fitness journey?
So the best thing that they can do is, maybe they can come with some of their friend. If they don't have a friend, they can maybe reach out to the trainer. So I'm sure every gym has a general trainer or the floor trainer it has, right? So they can just reach out to them and talk to them for like 2-3 minutes, and that trainer or the coach will help them out how to go with the plan or basic thing. Let's say if they didn't even reach out to the trainer, they can I just go to the treadmill machine, and I'm sure everyone knows how to use it. Even if they don't know it also, they might figure it out. So they should be just like be on the first day treadmill machine or some sort of a, let's say, cardio machine, where they can just at least move around and they can just observe and know what is happening around. And the second one, main thing again, they have to reach out to the trainer, because their work is to educate them, to make them feel comfortable in that gym, in that environment. So once they talk to them, so they get to know how the program has to go, what they need to do in the gym. And sometimes if that also doesn't work, some people, they just, maybe I can understand totally that, let's say for like with me only it happened. So when I first started working out and all, I went to the gym. So I'm like seeing people are lifting very heavy. So somewhere I felt to build this kind of strength and muscles, maybe I have to also lift this much of weight or try to go this hard. But then no, it doesn't work like that. And I'm sure someone who is dedicated and put a mindset of that I have to get into it, he or she will find out some ways to be consistent. But if someone is, let's say, not going with that mindset itself, or someone has forced that person to go and start your fitness journey, so that person will find some or the other way to come out of it, or some excuses to not start their fitness journey or to get into the workout routine. So it's also about the mindset, what you step inside the gym. I'm sure that no one, nothing can, and nowadays everyone has been exposed to the social media. They know what is happening, how are the basic tips are always there. There's not that you have to lift heavy, you have to do this, do that. So they know all those things. So maybe if this would have happened if 20 years back or 10 years back, if someone would have just stepped inside the gym, go, oh no, I don't know what to do. But nowadays everyone knows some sort of idea they have. So these days it's all about the mindset, I feel, that with what mindset you're going. You know that at 100 kg that guy's lifting is not possible for me to right now to lift. It's very basic. Let's say when you get into a new job or some IT company, you won't be like, oh, okay, I have to get into that kind of a role, or I can decode this kind of thing in that 1 hour or span time, right? So you will be like, that, okay, this much of work, it will take time. I have to learn a few things to get in that level. Same way it works over here also. You have to give time, you have to be consistent, you have to have that mindset that it's okay, it takes time, have that patience, and then start working towards it. But yeah, basic thing that you can start with, reach out to the trainers, talk to them, and they will help you out. And they will educate you that how you can start with it. Or let's say sometimes if it's a group classes, or best thing that they can do is to start with a group class also. Because in a group class, all they have to do just follow the instructor.
Right.
That's it. And they scale it down for them, and they let them know that what and all they have to do. If someone is really intimidated by that, they can start with something with the group classes, and then slowly they can start getting into a gym where they have different goals.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rajan. And for those of you who have any doubt, always just don't go about it, by yourself or by reading up something on the internet. Reach out to your trainer. Like Rajan Das said, there is a trainer in every gym. There is a flow trainer, if not a personal trainer. So reach out to them, ask your doubts, don't be embarrassed, don't be shy about it. And end of the day, remember your competition is with yourself and nobody else when you enter the gym. Thank you, Rajan. Dr. Shashikira, before I head into the next question, a quick note, word to our attendees who are present online. Our Move Fitness Summit is happening on the 8th of June at St. John's Auditorium in Bengaluru. It starts at 9 a.m. We have different sessions, experts who will talk about various aspects of fitness and nutrition. You can reach out to them in person and clear your doubts as well, in addition to attending the seminar and topics. You can register for the summit with the link that is shared in the chat box, and you also have a one-time special discount for which the code is given in the chat box. My next question to you, Dr. Shashikiran. We've been talking about fitness at the gym. Is going to the gym the only way for fitness? What else can people do if they can't hit the gym?
Well, there are many options other than the gym. They can do there's running, there's cycling, they can take up swimming. So gym is not the only option. There are a lot of online training sessions that happen on the web. So they can, in fact, do a lot of stretches, and they can just keep weights like 2 kgs, 5 kgs and do it at home. I'm sure Rajan would be a better person to answer this question, but Gym is not the only option. There are plenty of other options available, to stay fit and healthy.
Right. Rajan, would you like to add to that? If I can't find time to go to the gym, what else can I do for these 30, 45 minutes in a day that I want to keep aside for fitness?
If you are, as doctor said, that you can start with the jogging, running, swimming, cycling, anything that works best for you. So main thing that if you are able to maintain that 3 to 4 days in a week and capable to hit some sort of activity, I'm sure there will be after 21 days or a month where you will be end up in the gym. I'm sure, because that that after that kind of motivation and that consistency will boost you from inside. That okay, now I want something more. I'm feeling better. I can maintain 3 to 4 days in a week. I'm being consistent. I promise myself I can like dedicate 40 minutes or 1 hour.
Mm.
So automatically, if you're into a fitness, if you're doing that, you'll not just stop over there. You will end up in the gym and you want more progress out of after that. So this will happen. Just start with something. That's all. And if you're, let's say, if you can't even go outside and do anything, start with something basic, skipping at home.
Yeah. Skipping.
Burpees, push-ups. These are the two, and that will not lead you to a very certain muscle soreness. Even if you do 20 reps of 3 sets daily, I'm sure you will improve in 21 days. And next, after a month and all, you'll be like, now I feel quite confident to hit something very like a gym or some sort of a group class. That will happen automatically for sure.
Okay. And what is the ideal workout duration that you would suggest for optimal results? And to add to that, shorter, high intensity workout, is it as effective as longer sessions?
It depends now again. If someone, let's say some beginner is coming up in the classes, I would recommend maybe 30 minutes also they can push. Some beginner can push it to 45 minutes also.
Okay.
Again, it depends on the lifestyle, how they are leading it. And someone who is, let's say, overweight or maybe underweight, for them, pushing that hard, even for 20 minutes would be challenging, right? So it depends so when a trainer, we see anyone, right, as a coach. So we, after 5 minutes, we understand, or 10 minutes, that okay, this person is capable to push this much. So we analyze them and then we accordingly give them the exercises that okay, you do it for 30 minutes today. Next day when you come, you do it for 40 minutes.
Okay.
So that that has to be an understanding between the coach and the client.
The person.
And there's nothing like that. You have to push it, whatever you feel. When you, at least I would say, those who are new, always listen to your body. When you come to the gym or coming for the workout, you start the workout. But when you see that now something is going wrong, let's say you're having light head or you are having a sensation of puking out or you're not feeling that strong, just tell the coaches that today I want to just stop it over here. That's totally fine. The main thing is that you came up for 15-20 minutes and you showed up. That's very important. Because showing up only leads you to 20 minutes to 25 minutes, 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And I'm sure if you keep showing up daily, that 30 minutes will go to 40 minutes. 40 minutes will go to 50 minutes. So that's how it works. And those who are athlete, for them, it's a totally different game. You have to like be into the discipline. Forget motivation, discipline. You have certain program for 2 hours, finish it. Okay. So being an athlete is totally a different game. So I would not compare an athlete or someone who just coming for a fitness.
Okay. So if you're starting off your fitness journey, or if you're very new to this, remember that your goal should be to begin with, to show up to work out,
Yes.
and everything else will happen gradually and naturally.
Yep.
All right. Dr. Shashikiran, there are a lot of talks about, or common myths about people have about working out when they have pre-existing injuries. But exercise is also recommended for healing and recovery. So how does this work? What should people remember if they're exercising, if they have to exercise and they have pre-existing injuries?
So the common myths with the pre-existing injury is that, exercise will make the injury worse. So while certain movements may, increase the injury or exacerbate the injury, but, if it's done incorrectly or excessively, but it is very, appropriate exercise can strengthen the supporting muscles. It can improve joint stability and prevent further injury. So there has to be a tailored exercise program which helps in the mobility, the strength, and flexibility. So this can be beneficial. So it is not always because there is a pre-existing injury, that it will make the injury worse. Correct kind of joint mobility and strengthening the muscle can help in pre-existing diseases as well. The other myth is that all exercises should not be done when there is a pre-existing injury. So high impact and strenuous activities need to be avoided with pre-existing injuries, but low impact activities such as swimming, cycling, all these can help even though there is pre-existing injury. The other myth that is commonly thought of is exercise is only for young healthy individuals. So it can benefit individuals of all ages, and including those with pre-existing injuries or chronic conditions, but it has to be tailored according to their pre-existing disease. And in such cases, where people with pre-existing disease will have to contact their trainer and healthcare professional before starting out. So it's very important that they work closely with the healthcare professionals or a qualified fitness professional when they have pre-existing injuries, so that they ensure safety as well as effectiveness when they do the exercises. So the specialist can provide guidance on appropriate exercises, the modifications that they need to do with respect to their pre-existing disease, and also based on individual needs and their limitations.
Okay. Since you also mentioned about older adults, are there specific exercises or activities that are more beneficial for older adults? And, could you give some tips for staying active and maintaining good musculoskeletal health
So
at the age?
in older adults, the two things. One is cardio, to take care of cardio health. So they have to do some amount of steps that they need to cover in a day. So the myth is that the elderly think that just doing cardio and maintaining the cardio health is sufficient. But what needs to be understood is, in elderly, to maintain the muscle tone is also equally important. Not just doing, we have a lot of elderly patients who come in and say that I've covered 10,000 steps today, and that I do it routinely. But what needs to be added to this is some amount of muscle training as well. So weekly, twice or thrice a day, they have to add some amount of strength training to maintain the muscle tone. So in elderly, they start to lose their muscle tone as they age. So increasing muscle tone helps in two things. One is it maintains the muscle tone and strength. The second thing is also it adds to bone health, especially in elderly females. They are prone to osteoporosis, postmenopausal osteoporosis. So it is very important that they do mild strength training to maintain their tone. Thereby, that will also help in maintaining their bone health. So this is very important that the elderly need to add into their exercise routine.
Okay. Rajan Das, I'll take that question forward with you. This is a very common question that we hear. Strength training and cardio, which one should be done when? And strength training, how important is it? Because there's also the myth that it'll make you bulkier. So a lot of people, especially women, don't really do strength training. So strength training or cardio, which one to do when? And the importance of strength training.
So there are different kinds of training these days. We have like bodybuilding kind of a training, where in that we try to keep cardio and strength training separately. So most preferably we try to just recommend to our people, or even we try to put the cardio in the morning times, okay, or someone who try to keep it in the like evenings as well. But I would prefer, if you can manage cardio in the morning, that would be better, because at that time the body uses the fat percentage more as an energy, so that can be used as an energy and it can be burned more in a better way. And strength training can be done maybe in the afternoon or evening, whenever you get time. But now let's say if we talk about the CrossFit, in that CrossFit we have metabolic conditioning, strength training, lifting and running. It's all mixed. So that is also one way of a training as well. For someone who cannot afford to go in the morning or in the evening, have so much of time, so they can actually try to put both the things together and they can work out in that way also. So someone, if we have that kind of a goal where you really need to have a different sort of aesthetic physique in more term of like a bodybuilder, where you have a goal of having certain sort of a muscle size, or if you have to compete, or let's say if you really want to look in a certain way, then it's fine. Okay, so then maybe you can do it. But if you really just looking for the as a fitness perspective, I would recommend you can mix cardio. When I say cardio, that doesn't mean that you have to just keep running for 30 minutes as a stretch. You can, like, there will be a kind of a workout where it's kind of a mixed kind of a workout. So as like you said, that move circuit is coming up. So that is also designed in a certain way where the cardio and the strength and the body weight and the function movement have been combined together. So those kind of exercises are very good as a for person to just get into a fitness
Yeah.
and have a good lifestyle and look fit. That's all. So that is a very good way to start your fitness journey. Now, if I'm talking about the strength training for women, is very crucial. Okay, so it's kind of a say that if you have a good muscle, if you have muscles, you will age lesser because that muscle will help you to, as doctor said, that it will help you with your injuries and it will help your bones and the joints and all. So everything it gives you a lot of advantage when you have good amount of muscle mass in your body. And for women, you need to do strength training because comparatively for women, the fat percentage is already higher. So even if you and at the end, if you don't do any sort of a strength training, which means that your muscle mass is going even more lower. So in that case, you have to incorporate at least maybe you can do 1 to cardio session maybe in a week, but rest of the more you heavy you lift, the more metabolic rate goes up and the more the muscle mass will be there for your good as well. So it's very important for women to get those muscles, and you will not get bulky. No one can get bulky because for us, we have high level of testosterone level in our body. So we get, as a man, we get to have a muscles development very fast. But for in women, it won't happen gradually. It will take time because their body is designed in that way. So if I am doing certain kind of exercises, let's say 15 push-ups, and some woman is also doing 15 push-ups, I don't think so that woman will start looking like me because kind of a different body hormonal changes stuff that we have. So that will take time. And to get into that way, you have to focus a lot of design programs, the food habits and all. Everything has to be changed. So my workout will benefit me in a certain way, and their strength training will help them in a certain way. So which is very important.
All right. So yes, strength training does not make you, bulk up right away. There is a certain designed program for certain people who would want to have that after a certain point, which will be done by professionals. But otherwise, strength training and cardio equally important. Try and mix up all of these workout. But what do you need for yourself? Reach out to your fitness trainer or a medical professional to clarify your doubts so that you can decide what works for your body the best, because each individual is different. Dr. Shashikiran, as far as specialized equipment or footwear is concerned, you had mentioned this earlier about wearing the right shoes. How important is footwear for preventing injuries, and does it mean that the more expensive or the more specialized shoes you have, the more better it is? Is that true?
So, footwear plays a significant role in preventing injuries during exercise. It provides support, it provides stability, it provides good cushioning. There's something called a ground reaction force. When you land on the ground, there is some amount of force that comes back. It's called ground reaction force. So, adequate cushioning is very, very important. Expensive specialized shoes may not be necessary, but for every type of exercise, you have to wear appropriate footwear that suits whatever particular activity that you're whatever you're doing. And so that can, reduce the risk of injury, and it can also enhance performance. So the footwear should give the right kind of support and stability. It should give good shock absorption. And so a lot of patients with flat feet, when they there is a 20% incidence of flat feet. It's not a disease, but people, when they exercise with flat feet, they come with a lot of heel pain, feet pain. They come with recurrent twisting of the ankle. So in such patients, they need the right kind of footwear with medial arch support, and there should be some amount of heel raise also. The sport shoes usually comes with medial arch support and heel raise. So the right kind of footwear is very important, not the expensive ones, but the right kind is important. and made for the surface and terrain where you are exercising, and it should be activity specific. So footwear plays a really important role in exercise.
All right. We have a few questions from our attendees. Before we get into that, I'll just ask a couple of more questions to end this session. Rajan Das, one of the mistakes or one of the things that people do when they are very determined to start off their fitness journey is, show up at the gym every day, working out every day for that time that they decide. How do you advise people to start off their fitness journey? Doctor said rest and recovery is also important. So how do you space it out? How do you advise them to go on about it as a beginner?
So as a beginner, I would say if you're very new to it, 4 days, 5 days, 4 to 5 days is what you should look for. And you can start with 1 day upper body, 1 day lower body, 1 day cardio. Then again, repeat the same thing, upper body, lower body, cardio. Don't go for one muscle group at a time, I would say, because because when we hit one muscle group, there are a lot of other 3, 4 exercises which cause a lot of tension on those muscles. So you need to focus on all the muscles, one exercises where the load is reduced in the beginning, where the soreness will be also lesser. So where I'm focusing chest, back, shoulder, arms. So maybe one exercise if I do, that will take me around like 3 to 5 exercises, and that will cover almost 40 to 45 minutes or maybe an hour. So that is sufficient enough. And that much time you will again have when you do the legs day next day, your upper body will recover. And then again for the legs day also same thing happens, 3 to 4 exercises for three sets. That will again recover when you do the cardio. So that would be a great way to start with. And the third day you can do some sort of a light cardio or maybe yoga or something, whatever cardio. You can go for dance if you like, yoga, cycling, any sort of a thing where you can just stick to between 30 to 40 minutes, and where you can also can go for zone 2 training where you don't exhaust yourself too much, where you just stay in your comfort zone but you are still trying to just move or trying to be in your just that minimal pace, whether if you're running, jogging, cycling, or dancing, anything. So yoga, stretches, this kind of a thing on third day would be recommended. Keep repeating it for maybe a month or 2 months, and then maybe you can start changing the program.
All right. Thank you, Rajan Das. Dr. Shashikiran, there's a lot of information about corrective exercises. Can you explain the role of a physical therapist, and when should someone actually go to a professional guidance for specific exercises?
So physical therapist is very, very important. They play a very crucial role in helping individuals recover from injuries, like to manage their pre-existing disease or chronic condition, and they help in overall improvement of their physical functions. So they help in assessing and diagnosing any pre-existing diseases, and they can give individual training modalities to the individual. So they can also give corrective exercises. They can educate and instruct them on the right way of doing exercises, and they can also monitor the progress of the patient with especially people with pre-existing injuries, and also they help in rehab and recovery. So the role of a professional is very important, especially in certain conditions, chronic conditions, or patients who have had recent injury or recent surgeries, or in individuals who have had persistent pain or some kind of dysfunction. And they also help in performance optimization. So their role, how much have you tell it is less. So it is very important to have the right kind of physical trainers to help you.
All right. Right. With that, we will move to the questions by our attendees. First question is by Rashmi Sanjay. This question is to Dr. Shashikiran. She says, I'm turning 50 this August and diabetic since 4 years. I'm seeing the decline of feet and leg strength. What do I do? I also have feet numbness and high sensitivity.
Okay. Firstly, she's 50, diabetic, feet numbness, sensitivity. There could be neuropathy. So, with the vitamin B12 deficiency can cause neuropathy and numbness in the feet. So it is very important that she checks the vitamin B12 and vitamin D levels. And in diabetics, one important thing, like I mentioned before, it is very important to maintain the muscle tone. So she will have to add, strength training, especially for her legs. She will have to do some calf stretches, quadriceps and hamstrings, and do all these stretching exercises. So she'll have to look into two things. One is strength training and stretches of her calf muscles and quad strengthening. And second thing is to check her vitamin B12 and vitamin D levels, especially B12 because she's saying she's having numbness and tingling in her feet.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. I hope that answered your question, Rashmi. Our next question is by Shivakumar. This question is for Rajan Das. What should be the right format or sequence of exercise? Is it stretch first and then strength training, or the other way? We've touched upon this, but if you could quickly recap, please.
Do the mobility warm up, not focus too much on the stretching in the beginning. Focus more on the static stretches after the workout. So mobility warm up, when I say mobility, try to mobilize your joints before the warm up, before the workout, and then get into the high intensity workout. After that, you get into a stretches where you hold all the stretches for 40 to 45 seconds or a minute for that particular muscle that you have trained for.
All right. Next question by an attendee is this person's asking, how do you look at supplements being suggested these days to take care of fitness? Doctor, if you can answer this, and then Rajan Das as well.
Yeah, there's so straight away when you hit the gym, don't go and look into whey proteins and start off high protein diet. It has to be a balanced diet, and only if you're looking into bodybuilding and muscle building, then whey protein is suggested. But that there has to be a professional advice before you start whey protein. Just don't randomly go to shops and start buying protein just because you've started to hit the gym. Initially start off with a balanced diet with the right amount of protein in your diet, and only when you pick up the intensity and you start doing hardcore weight training, only then you will need additional protein supplements, and only with professional advice.
All right. Rajan, your perspective on this. Supplements.
Guys, I totally agree with Doctor. I mean, it totally makes sense that you should not just go and buy it. So start with something balanced diet. So whatever he said, it's right. There's nothing new to it. But yeah, if you're looking for after, once you know that you have moved to advanced level or you have trained for maybe a few months, then talk to the doctor if you have certain sort of medical condition. First talk to them and then have a talk with your coaches and then if there's something good that suits you, then you slowly and gradually start with it. But again, it depends on your goal. If you have a goal to just lead a normal life without any sort of a technique to learn, any sort of a movements to get improve or better or stronger, if you have nothing as such, you can also gain all those kinds of things without taking supplements as well. If you have good balance of diet where you are getting protein, fibers, good amount of good fats, then I don't think so protein is always required. But if you have certain sort of deficiency of minerals or vitamin, you can get it checked. And then accordingly, what is required, you can take.
All right. Thank you so much, Rajan Das and Dr. Shashikiran. We are right in time to wrap up the session. Those of you who have any more questions, you can write to us. You have various information on our website, happiesthealth.com as well. And for those of you attendees who would like a recording of the session, we will be uploading this on our YouTube channel, Happiest Health, the link to which I'm sharing in the chat box. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. You will have a playlist with all the recorded webinars so far. You'll find all the fitness related webinars as well on the YouTube channel. So do remember to check it out in case you missed some information that these experts have shared in the last 1 hour. With that, we close the session. But before that, Dr. Rajan and Dr. Shashikaran, any quick parting remark that you will have to make for the attendees?
I would like to just add up one thing where we're talking about the right shoes, right? So when you're training with your running shoes, don't end up training any sort of a movement which you are doing weightlifting or powerlifting. I would rather recommend do it barefoot.
Okay.
But don't start doing any deadlift or squats where you are using running shoes. Okay, use no shoes, that's fine, but then don't use all those because that really triggers the muscles and the joints which is not required, and that can lead to injury. So there are the shoes like there's a reason why you have a lifting shoes and why you have a your running shoes. So try to just know that thing and then start with it, because that will you'll either learn the wrong form and you'll keep doing it for whole time, or you'll screw something of your back or your knees and all. So just try to avoid that.
All right. Dr. Shashikira?
And
Yes,
sleep is
Dr.
very important. Okay, one more thing. The recovery, right? When I talk the recovery is very important, especially the sleep. Prioritize your sleep as a main and primary factor as a recovery. Okay, do not be like, okay, I want to recover, so I want to take that supplement, so I will recover faster. Okay, I will eat that. No, if you really know that if you recover well, feel better next day, try to have 7 to 8 hours of deep sleep. You are good to go. That's what you need.
All right. Dr. Shashikira?
One thing I'd like to add is, the people have started to do a lot of fasting and dieting. They are exercising, but they're doing dieting. So it is very important to have the right nutrition. So just going into intermittent fast for long hours without taking correct professional advice is very wrong, because for muscle recovery, micronutrient is very important. So the right kind of diet and nutrition, and like Rajan said, sleep is very important for healing. So if you haven't started exercising, you should kick off, but consult professionals, because they're very accessible. The physical therapists, the doctors are very accessible, especially in our country. So you should consult if you have any doubts, but start off with exercising and the right nutrition.
All right. Thank you so much, Rajan Das and Dr. Shashikiran. That was an insightful session. A whole lot of perspective coming in from you, Rajan Das, as a trainer who's seeing these, beginners to advanced people in fitness, as well as Dr. Shashikiran, who are seeing people with injuries who need to exercise or who want to exercise, and all of the different aspects of fitness. And thank you so much for breaking all those myths and misconceptions as well. But what all of them would like to reiterate is, remember that when you start off, start slow. Focus on gradual progress, focus on showing up for fitness, make sure you have time for fitness, and equally important is your nutrition and sleep. Rest and recovery, stretching before and after workout, all of these are important. So fitness is not one aspect. It is a combination of multiple factors, all of which you will need to focus on. And anytime you have any doubt, remember to reach out to a qualified professional, either your doctor or the certified trainer, because you need to know what is good for you, and each body is different. So remember all of these before you start your fitness journey and you hit the gym the next time, or any other sort of fitness. Thank you so much for joining us in this session. Before we close, a quick word about our Move Fitness Seminar happening on the 8th of June at the St. John's Auditorium in Bengaluru, starting at 9 a.m. We have various sessions and events as well. You will meet different experts with whom you can in person clarify these doubts about fitness and nutrition as well. And a quick word for our sponsors today as well, thanking them. Active Nutrition Partner, Nestle Health Science, Senior Fitness Partner, Atulya, Fitness Tracking Partner, Abo, Fitness Partner, Lifelong, Fitness Circuit Partner, Chisel, and Wellbeing Partner, MediFit. With that, I'll close the session. Thank you, Dr. Shashikiran, for your time, and thank you, Rajan Das, for your time and all those insights that you gave us. Thank you, attendees, for joining the session today. You can access the recording of the session on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.